welcome. It's Friday. I don't know if it's happy, but it's definitely Friday. I think, pretty sure. So let's get started. It's always interesting. How do we know that we're getting started? How do we know? How do we know when we've begun? I find it to be a very interesting inquiry. So, for those who were there on for Wednesday's Bliss Techniques program, we did a bit of that in a slightly different way, but similar. Because it brings our awareness to our habits, subtler habits, right? The habit of how do you know when one thing is completed and another thing has started? That can really mess with you, can't it? Especially if you already have, let's say, weak boundaries or non-existent boundaries. If you already struggle with how do I protect myself? How do I keep myself safe? Then that inquiry can really open things up in a way that you say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. But it can also be really helpful because it can actually paradoxically help to establish appropriate functional boundaries, because you can start to recognize that those boundaries they're not fixed. And your intention matters. And actually you get to have a say. So on the one hand, we can take that to an extreme, right? If we have too rigid of boundaries, then we become fragile. It's like rigid boundaries. It's like an eggshell. We're Humpty Dumpty. You know that one? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Great fall, I think. Great fall. And all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Because when our boundaries are too rigid, too certain, and too externalized, then we've lost that suppleness, that ability to be flexible, to adapt. Adaptability is an important one, right? And so it is like an eggshell. Then we've got this eggshell, and anything that comes along cracks it, and we can't be put back together again. So we've got these two extremes. No boundaries, really rigid boundaries, the two extremes. So if you have any boundary issues, who doesn't? Then chances are you lean too heavily to one extreme or the other. Maybe you're a flip-flopper. That was several elections ago. Several elections ago, we had a flip-flopper. So if you're, just notice how these are, I'm talking about archetypes. patterns. And we all have these. So it's not like I don't have to be psychic. Everybody has them because it's part of the energetic makeup of what it is to be human on this planet. So we can inquire, which is what I'm inviting us to do right now. How do we know when we've begun? How do we know when we've ended something? How do we know? And you can look and see for yourself that actually you are a participant in that. So how is it that you participate in that? Well, this is Weekday Somatics. Sometimes like, what on earth what does that even mean? Well, it means that we're using a somatic lens to inquire into our experience. So take a look at what somatically, in a felt sense, you refer to in order to know that you've begun. So if I say, notice what happens if you've ever been in a room. I know nobody does this anymore, but it used to be gather with other people in a room for something, and when the things start, before it starts, everybody's casual. They're kind of leaning and turning and talking to people and blah, 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 blah. And then the thing starts, the event starts, and what happens? So there's a somatic shift, a shift in our state, felt state, the way we experience ourselves, that we do largely unconsciously in order to know, okay, now it's started. Before this, it hadn't started, but now it's started. And how did that come about? Is that innate? Is that just how it is? Does it have to be like that? No. It's something that we learned. So it's a conditioning, it's a habit that we have. And maybe it's fine, maybe it's no problem, but what if it is not so fine? What if it interferes with the free flow of goodness in your life? So that every time something happens, whatever that is that triggers this sense of, oh, something's changed, then your inner reaction has to reflect that. Well, then who are you? And I'll tell you what, I'm not the same as my dog. If you've ever had a pet, you know, if you've ever seen a dog, what does the dog do? When the dog wants to lie down, they can't help themselves. They have to. But we have this other magic power. We've been gifted with this magic power. Now we are like the dog. But that's what I'm pointing to, is how do you know that this has begun? If you're not paying attention, you'll know it began because you did this. Not literally, but metaphorically, you did something that you did internally, state change. So can we choose? Let's see if we can choose. So let's choose. It's not too late. Let's choose to begin in a new way. So choose a posture. Whatever that posture is. And it doesn't mean you have to change anything. You could choose the posture that's already happening, but just choose it. Be present to it. Choose to inhabit this posture with awareness. And if it's comfortable for you, then close the eyes. And I'm going to direct your attention to different parts of your body. And as I do, what I will invite you to do, or my invitation to you, is to bring your attention there and just notice that part of your body. And notice whatever it is that you're doing there, and if it's necessary, and if it's not necessary, just see if it's possible to release that. Now, I'm going to move fairly quickly. So don't aim to get it perfect. Just do your best and trust that that's good enough. Actually, that is perfect. So I'm going to be naming parts of the body, and as I do so, direct your attention to that part of your body in your own awareness. Be aware of whatever you're doing there, and soften anything that's unnecessary to the best of your ability. Left shoulder, right shoulder, right collarbone, left collarbone, forehead, left eye, right eye, lips, throat, top of the head, back of the head, left forearm, right forearm, left palm, right palm, the entire left arm from shoulder to fingertips, the entire right arm from shoulder to fingertips, both arms from shoulders to fingertips, center of the chest, throat, back of the neck, lower back, left knee, right knee, left thigh, right thigh, left foot, belly button, right foot, now be aware again of your arms, both arms, from the shoulders to the fingertips, And let your arms become heavier so that they're becoming increasingly heavy and relaxed. You really don't need to be doing anything with your arms other than just letting them become heavy and relaxed. Be aware, particularly of the palms. Let the palms become heavy and relaxed. Let the wrists be heavy and relaxed so that you can feel the flow all the way from the shoulders to the palms, through the wrists and through the elbows. Allow the palms to be not only heavy and relaxed, but also warm. And perhaps you can notice some other sensation in the palms, tingling, buzzing, vibrating, pulsating. And become aware of the breath. And don't do anything to change the breath, just be aware. And be aware of what the breath highlights to you. What does it help you to be more aware of? So as you inhale, notice where there seems to be limitation or restriction, or what sensations, images, memories, or thoughts arise. And whether they are clear to you from the start or not, they become clearer to you the more that you relax and observe the breath. So don't try to control the breath. Don't try to breathe in the right way. Let the breath be natural and just be aware of whatever seems to interrupt or interfere with that natural breath. And notice how you habitually react to that. Notice how you recoil from it or try to strain and push through. And don't do any of those things. Instead, just be present to the experience. And of course, you're exhaling after the inhalation. So you're not holding the breath, but neither are you forcing the breath. You're just allowing the breath to happen as it does. And even if it seems unsatisfying or uncomfortable or strenuous from the beginning, don't try to fix it. Because if you try to fix it, you're just reinforcing your old habits without awareness. But here we just want to be aware of whatever those habits are. And at first you're not so aware. They're vague. Just a vague discomfort, agitation, impatience, or whatever. But be patient with it and just allow yourself to be breathed and be aware and notice how can you allow yourself to soften the reactivity, to soften the habits so that you can just allow the inhalation to gently descend, gently expand, gently encourage an opening and an awareness of your natural suppleness and elasticity so that you can feel the natural boundaries of your body. And notice how those natural boundaries are actually supple, elastic, adaptable. They can move and adjust without losing integrity. Again, bring your attention to your left shoulder and then to your right shoulder. Bring your attention to your left elbow and to your right elbow. Bring your attention to your left wrist and bring your attention to your right wrist. Bring your attention to the left arm in its entirety, feeling it from shoulder through the elbow, through the wrist, into the hand. And bring your attention to the right arm in its entirety, feeling it from the shoulder, through the elbow, through the wrist, and into the hand. And then be aware of both the left arm and the right arm in their entirety so that you can perceive both arms from the shoulders, through the elbows, through the wrists, and into the hands. And again, be aware of both arms as heavy and relaxed, and feel the energy flowing freely through both arms, through the elbows, through the wrists, feeling the palms heavy and relaxed and warm. Be aware now of your abdomen. Notice how your abdomen moves as you breathe. Notice that the abdomen has a front side, the belly button side, and a back side where the spine is. It has a right side and a left side. It's also bounded by the pelvic floor. And notice how as you breathe, you can perceive or be aware of the movement of the abdomen in all directions. Notice how that movement highlights your awareness of any unnecessary tension or restriction, any habits of unnecessary holding, gripping. And let yourself further soften and release. Be gentle, because if you push too hard, all you'll do is reinforce the same habits. But at the same time, don't hold back from the experiences, the sensations, the images, the thoughts, the memories that surface when you come to the edge of your habitual modes of breathing and holding and being. So we're playing with the edge where you allow yourself to be breathed to the edge, but not pushing beyond, just feeling that edge, noticing how it highlights something that you're doing so that you can soften that, consciously release that, and then allow yourself to continue to release that as you are exhaling without force, without strain. So you notice on the inhalation, the abdomen gently expands in all directions, highlighting how you're holding unnecessary tension. Release and soften whatever you become aware of. And then allow yourself to release the breath, allow the exhalation to be unforced as you maintain that same release of whatever you've become aware of. So that with each breath, your abdomen becomes more and more supple, more responsive, more adaptive. And then be aware of your chest. And as you exhale, allow the chest to become heavier and heavier and heavier so that without squeezing, without force, the breath is naturally released and the chest hangs like a comfortable, heavy blanket draped over you to reassure you that you're here, that you're held, that you're safe. And then with the inhalation, notice that you don't need to lift or expand the chest with force. Let the chest remain heavy, like you're draped in that heavy, comforting blanket. So let the breath first descend into that supple abdomen, letting the abdomen gently expand in all directions. And then let the breath itself just very gently open and lift the ribs, but not with any force, so that you can still feel the heaviness of the chest, the stabilizing effect of that heavy blanket draped over you. You can perhaps sense that your throat can open without any trying. It just naturally becomes more open as the chest can relax. Now again, become aware of the left arm from the shoulder, through the elbow, through the wrist, into the hand. Be aware of the right arm from the shoulder, through the elbow, through the wrist, and into the hand. Be aware of both arms from the shoulders, through the elbows, through the wrists, and into the hands. And be aware of both arms heavy and relaxed, the palms heavy and relaxed and warm. Notice any sensations, any vibrations, any energy, pulsations. And then slowly, with awareness, bend the right elbow, keeping the right shoulder as heavy and relaxed as possible, so that the right hand is coming toward the right shoulder. And it will come only as far as it does without strain, so don't strain. And then at that point, you're going to need to lift the elbow so that the hand can continue toward the neck. And then turn the hand so that you can place the fingers on the side of the neck. And then again, be aware of the shoulder. Relax the shoulder, let the arm become heavy so that you maintain the hand where it is on the side of the neck, but you're allowing the arm to still be heavy. So the elbow is resting as much as possible on the chest. Let the hand be relaxed so the fingers can be resting on the neck. You don't need to be straining. And keep the hand there. And then let's do the same with the left. So keeping the left shoulder heavy and relaxed, slowly start to bend the left elbow so that the left hand is coming in the direction of the left shoulder. And it will only come so far, and then you can begin to lift the elbow so that the hand can move toward the neck. And then you can turn the hand so that the hand and the fingers can be in contact with the left side of the neck. Now your thumbs, and well, the thumbs, especially the base of the thumb, probably, hopefully, is on the collarbone on both sides. And if not, just let them come and adjust so that they're in contact with the collarbones. Relax the thumbs, relax the fingers, relax the shoulders, let the arms be heavy, and let the forearms move in toward one another so that everything is as relaxed and heavy as possible. Now, if you are lying down on your back, then you'll just stay here. If you're sitting, then let the head slightly tip down and look down as if you were going to look at your chest. And take a few breaths. And notice as you breathe here, where do you feel the breath? Let the backside of the body be expanded by the breath. So the backside of the rib cage can soften and expand. The shoulder blades can soften and move apart. And the back of the neck also can soften. Keep looking down. And notice, are you looking equally through the right and the left eyes? So with the hands and the arms heavy here, if you're sitting especially, you may notice that, well, really only if you're sitting, you will notice that you're gently pulling down without you trying to pull, just the natural heaviness is pulling gently down and spreading the muscles, the soft tissue on the back of the neck. So let that continue. Let the back of the neck spread. Relax the jaw. And if you're sitting, if you're lying down, you'll just continue with what you're doing, just breathing. If you're sitting, then be aware of what you're sensing on the back of your neck and how your head is relaxed down. Keep looking down. And as you continue to look down and you continue to relax the back of the neck, bring your head slightly more to an upright position. But notice that in order to do this, you're not going to be using your head or even the neck in order to do that. Instead, you're going to be lifting your chest. But you're keeping the forearms and the elbows on the front of the body so that you should start to feel even more expansion in the back. And then slowly let the hands slide down. Or if you're lying, then you can just bring the hands down to your sides. And close the eyes. if you're sitting, then just allow your head to come atop your spine in a new way so that you're not flinging the head back at the occiput, but instead you're reawakening the suppleness of the backside of your body. And we'll do a short guided Qigong meditation on the organs. So bring your awareness to your kidneys. Kidneys are on the back side of your body, just below the rib cage. Most of us have two kidneys. Even if you only have one kidney, you can still bring your awareness to the location where both kidneys would be. So one on the right and one on the left. And as you inhale, imagine inhaling healing blue light into the kidneys. And as you exhale, imagine yourself exhaling fear. So with each breath, the kidneys become more and more vibrantly saturated with that healing blue light. Next, bring your awareness to your liver, which is on the upper right portion of your abdomen. And now, as you inhale, imagine healing green light filling your liver. And as you exhale anger, resentment. Each of these emotions, by the way, are absolutely fine. They're good. It's not that we should ever seek to not have the emotions, but rather we want to allow them to flow. And if they get stuck, we want to encourage them to flow. And this is one way to do that. Next, bring your attention to the spleen, which is on the left upper abdomen. And as you inhale and imagine this area being filled with a healing yellow light. And as you exhale, you're exhaling pensiveness, worry, overthinking. Remember that your intention is absolutely enough. You don't have to be a good visualizer. Just having the intention gives good results. Next, bring your attention to your heart. And as you inhale, imagine the heart, this area being filled with a healing pink to red light. So calibrate this to your own needs. For some people, a ruby red will be very wonderful. For some people, that will be too stimulating, in which case a much softer pink will be more appropriate. And as you exhale, you're exhaling the overexcitement, the overstimulation. From the Taoist perspective, excessive, what we would call overjoy, is harmful because it's too stimulating. So we want an even, smooth, calm sense of, we could call it joy, but it's not overjoy. So we're allowing a release of all the overstimulation, the overjoy. The over enthusiasm, over excitement. And next, bring your attention to your lungs. And as you inhale, imagine the lungs filled with a healing white light. And as you exhale, exhale all the grief. There's a lot to grieve. We don't have a good way to grieve in our culture in general. So a lot of that can get stuck, and we need to allow that to flow. So just allow that grief to flow out as you exhale. So the lungs are filled with a healing white light. Let's take some time now to integrate these inner discoveries, this cultivation of inner positive energy healing into our outer existence. So we'll start from the inside. We've just taken time with the organs. Let's also spread that nourishment through the entire inner body with a blessing. Bless the circulatory system, the lymphatic system, all of the nerves, the bones and the marrow, the tendons and the ligaments, the muscles, all of the connective tissue. Bless your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, so that they can be received as good guides, feedback in your life to help you stay on course, walking your path with confidence and clarity. Bless your side of your relationships with others so that you can perceive them in a good way, in a clear way. Bless your skin. Bless your home. If you have any pets, bless your pets. If you have any house plants or any garden plants, bless them. Bless any cars or vehicles you may have, so that you may travel with safety in this world. Bless your loved ones, your family. Bless your friends. Bless your finances. It's important to know that you have the means by which to exist in a good and confident way in this material existence. Bless your neighbors and your neighborhood, and bless your city or town. And rapidly expand those blessings to the state or province, to the country, the continent, to this entire earth, from its core to the furthest outreaches of the atmosphere. Bless all of her inhabitants. Bless all of the elementals, the water, the air, fire, the earth. Bless this entire solar system, galaxy, and universe, and multiverse beyond our comprehension. Bless all beings everywhere. Whatever your opinions may or may not be of them, bless them anyway, so that all may live in harmony, all may know love, all may know peace, so that all may be uplifted. And do so knowing that there is an abundance of goodness and love for all, so that the more that you extend those blessings, the more that you are blessed. The more that you are willing to uplift others, the more that you are uplifted. That always you are blessed first when you bless others. And again, be aware of your physical body. And we'll gently scan from head to toe. So be aware of the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the back of the head, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the lips, the chin, the throat, the back of the neck, the shoulders, the upper arms, the lower arms, and the hands and fingers. Be aware of the chest, the upper back, the abdomen, the lower back, the pelvic floor, the buttocks, the thighs, the knees, the lower legs, the tops of the feet, the toes, the soles of the feet, the heels, and the ankles. And be aware of the entire body. Be aware of the connection to this earth. You can move your fingers. And when you're ready, you may slowly begin to open the eyes. Just remember to do so slowly and with awareness so that you can integrate these changes, this newness in a smooth way. If you do it too quickly, it can be jarring. It's well worth taking a few extra seconds to do it slowly with awareness. So I'm going to end the recording in just a moment, and it's Friday, so blessings to everybody for your weekend. Remember, as usual, be gentle and loving with yourself, and that means all of yourself. So, this is all yourself, all of it, all your reactions, all your experience. It's all mediated through your nervous system, so it's well worth being gentle and loving, because ultimately it's just your own experience that we're talking about. So whatever happens, know that it's happening as part of the healing process. And as seemingly insignificant perhaps as this work can seem on the surface, it's really profoundly, well, not profoundly, it is profound. And so it brings a tremendous amount of hidden material to the surface to be finally healed and integrated and that requires awareness. It requires consciousness. We have to be a conscious participant in the process. Otherwise, we'll just keep getting more of the same, which has been dissatisfying or unsatisfying. So whatever happens, know that it's part of the healing process, and to the best of your ability. And I know this can be challenging at times. Just remember that and be grateful that finally the healing is taking place. Finally, after all these years, for a lot of this stuff, after generations, finally, it's being healed and released. And the lessons that are there, we're not in hell. This is not a bad place. It's challenging, but it's not a bad place. And so these lessons we're here to learn and to integrate, we can, if we remember to do so. And again, I know it can be challenging at times, but we have this ability to recognize that there are lessons, that we're receiving those lessons as part of the healing, and we can give thanks for that, because it's not just for us, by the way. I mean, it's good that it's for us, but it's also for our ancestors and for our children and for our friends and for future generations. And it's a really beautiful gift that you offer by participating. And it can be, sometimes we turn on the light and it's like, wow, what a mess. But better to turn on the light sooner rather than later, because it ain't gonna get better keeping it in the dark. So whatever comes to light, don't dismay. When it's in the dark, we don't have any ability to introduce positive change. But when it's in the light, then we can do the only thing that's actually required is just to be witness. So just to the best of your ability, be witness and don't dismay. Sometimes there are things that are asked of you that you need to do. Sometimes you must participate, but that will be clear. Your participation, the mandatory participation, will be made clear to you. And you do those things, but the rest of it, just be witness. Most of it is not, you don't need to muck about in it. You don't need to worry about it. No matter what it seems, because, a lot of it can seem quite distressing. But you have a choice in that. And my experience shows me the best thing is don't get caught up in the distress. Have awareness. Give thanks that this healing is taking place, and know this too shall pass. And for those of you who are participating in the reading of the Ramayana, hopefully you see some parallels there to your own experience, and you can see some wisdom in that. Because I find it's really helpful. It offers a lot of wisdom in that regard, to see that there's something much, much, much bigger than us happening here. But we're essential. And it's our willingness to just be witness and to participate in the way that is for us to participate, that's unique for us, which is mandatory, so we don't have to worry about it. It's just, it happens when it happens. When you have to do it because you're doing it. The rest of the stuff you don't have to worry about. And of course, get support. I mean, this is good support, but any other support you need, get that support. Surround yourself by supporting supportive people, and maybe they're sometimes hard to come by, but find those you can find. And if in a pinch, I'm always here. You can always reach out to me. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to end the recording.